So good morning children. Hope you're all fine and you must have completed all your pending works. But I'm little disappointed that I have not still received many of the art integration projects. So hope at least now you would be finishing it at the earliest such that you will not be having any workload later on. Okay children. So now let us today begin with a new chapter, that is natural resources. So what are natural resources? Now, what are resources actually? Resources are some materials which are useful to mankind, which helps them to survive. And these resources which we obtain from nature are called as what? Natural resources. Now, the major natural resources we obtain from nature or from earth are: one is air and the other is water and then land. Now, these are the three main resources which are obtained by or which are obtained by man or which are utilized by man. So now these air, water, land form certain layers of our earth. So air, the layer where air is present is called as what? Atmosphere. What do we term it as? Atmosphere. So the layer of air which is surrounding the earth is called as atmosphere. Then we all know that earth's 75% is covered by what children? Water. Okay. So this again water forms a portion of the earth which is termed as hydrosphere. Clear? Then land, the place where we live. Of course, it is only a 1/4 of the earth's part, but still the layer on which we are stowing, okay, the upper layer of the earth, which is nothing but crust, is also called as lithosphere. So you see now children, you have three main resources which we are using from nature: air, water, land. Air is termed as atmosphere, then water as hydrosphere, land as water, lithosphere. Now, since all these three elements are present in nature, a living organism is able to survive. We all know, what do we take from air? We take in oxygen, and plants need carbon dioxide, isn't it? So they have two important gases, that is oxygen, carbon dioxide, and one more important gas, that is nitrogen. Similarly, water is needed for our survival. Okay, how? We will be talking in detail in the next coming sessions. Then land, that is soil, which is also an essential part of our mankind's life, isn't it? Now when all these are present, then only a living organism is able to survive. So when these three components are going to interact, they make the life forms survive. So this layer or the sphere wherein the life forms exist, when these three elements are interacting, then it is called as what children? Biosphere. Am I clear? So now if you see, we have four spheres: atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. And how biosphere is able to survive or is made possible only because of the interactions or the interdependence which is existing between air, water and land. Now what does this biosphere contains? So biosphere contains all these three elements and the living organisms. So which makes up our water, which is going to make up our environment. So what is an environment? Wherein the natural surroundings, wherein the living organisms coexist along with the natural materials. So in your previous standards, lower standards, you learned that environment has two components. What are they? One is biotic and the other is abiotic. So when I say biotic, you all have understood, that is, biotic is nothing but life. So where what is present on all the living organisms. So what are these living organisms? Those are plants, animals and microorganisms. So there are three main biotic components: plants, animals and microorganisms. Whereas abiotic means non-living, isn't it? So here this abiotic also has three components. And what are those? Air, water and land. So it is the mutual coexistence of both these components which makes life possible. And see, living organisms cannot survive in the absence of the abiotic components, that is air, water, land. Similarly, even their survival is dependent upon whom? Upon the living organisms. Now, how they are dependent, we will be talking when we discuss about the biogeochemical cycles. Okay, children. But now today, we will just start with the first most important component, the abiotic component, that is air. Okay, children. So now, if you see now, the most important part, that is air, is what is air? Air is nothing but a mixture of gases. What is air? A mixture of gases. Now, when I say mixture of gases, what is this mixture of gases made up of? What is the composition of this mixture? Now, this mixture of gases will be present not only in the lower surface of the earth, but also in the upper surface, which will form a thick blanket, which we term it as what, children? Atmosphere. Now, we will not talk about all the components of the atmosphere, but let us talk the major components of the atmosphere. The three most important components which we all living organisms require. When I say living organisms, it includes plants, animals and microorganisms. So, the first and the foremost, oxygen. Then carbon dioxide, and of course what, children? Nitrogen. So, all these gases are essential for the survival of the living organisms, and all these are present in where, children? In the atmosphere. Now, is atmosphere present in all other planets? Yes. Children, in other planets also atmosphere is there. But then the atmosphere of Earth is so unique that in coexistence with water and land, it is making life possible. You all have learned. Let us just have a brief recap of it. How? The reason is, Earth's atmosphere contains just a mere 0.03% of carbon dioxide. How much percentage? 0.03%. Whereas oxygen is present around 28% and nitrogen is present around 71%. Isn't it? So, the unique combination or the ratio in which the gases are present in our atmosphere is allowing the life to survive. For example, let us compare the atmosphere of our Earth with Venus. Now, Venus has a large amount of carbon dioxide in its atmosphere. That is why you all know carbon dioxide is a good heat absorber. Okay, so thereby what will happen, that the temperature in Venus is very high. This results in water. It will not allow any microorganism to survive. Similarly, if you take in case of moon, which is also a satellite of our Earth, planet Earth, strangely does not have any atmosphere. So since it does not have any atmosphere, daytime it will absorb maximum heat and night time it will be very, very chill, cool. The reason is because there is no carbon dioxide which can trap the air. Am I clear? Which can trap the heat. So thereby, daytime when sunlight is there, the temperature rises very high, and night time what will happen? The temperature goes down due to absence of the carbon dioxide. Similarly, Venus as well. Venus is also the same condition. Now, let us know what is the role of atmosphere. Now, what is the most important role of atmosphere? It is the breath of life. I hope you must have understood now why it is breath of life, because it has the most important life supporting gas, which is oxygen. Then another most important thing is it is acting like a blanket or like a shield. Okay, now we will come to the shield part later on. Let us just discuss about what a blanket. Now, why does it act like a blanket? Now, we all have understood what is the use of blanket. It keeps us warm. That is why the average temperature on Earth is somewhere around 25 to 30 degrees. Of course, nowadays there is a variation in the temperature because of this global warming. Okay, about that we will discuss later. Now, how does it act like a blanket? During daytime, it is not allowing the Earth to become very hot. Okay, but at night time it does not allow the heat to escape there because the presence of the carbon dioxide, and thereby the temperature of the Earth is maintained constant. Okay, then coming to another important role, it is acting like what, children? Shield. What is this shield? As I said, during daytime, since sun is there, the temperature of the earth does not rise very high. What is the reason? Because earth is going to have a special layer which is called as ozone layer. You all have heard it. Ozone layer, which will absorb the ultraviolet rays, which will not allow the ultraviolet rays to come or reach the earth. So it is acting like a shield. So thereby we are protected from harmful UV radiations. Okay, and it is going to the presence of carbon dioxide maintains the temperature even at night. Fine, children. Then apart from it, atmosphere is also the source of distribution of sound. We all know sound cannot travel through vacuum, so air is needed for sound to travel. So we are able to communicate only because of the presence of air. Then another most important role of atmosphere is it brings out, it is responsible for the occurrence of rain and even the breezes. We don't have the temperature, we always don't feel a warm air blowing or a cool air blowing. It's okay. So sometimes we have warm air blowing, sometimes cool air blowing. So even this movement of air is all, the air is responsible for the occurrence of breezes or even winds and even sometimes storms, and it is also responsible for bringing rain. Am I clear, children? So about this, how they are responsible, we will talk about in the next session. So today I hope you are clear with the introductory part, that what is meant by natural resources, what are the three spheres or the three major natural resources, then what is a biosphere, what is environment, and what is the role of atmosphere. Please read the introductory part of this chapter, children. Hope you will revise at home.